What is up, gang? This is the X-Teen Featurette channel. I'm Chris, and I have another TGIX review video for you today, and I am going to be talking about the 1982 release Trick or Treats. This is being released by Code Red, and they sent this to me for review. So thanks to Code Red for this. Check in the description below for more information about that and where you can get it. So I'm going to talk about this release. I'm going to talk about the movie itself, no spoilers. So firstly, this is written, directed, and edited by Gary Graver. And I didn't really know much about him prior to this, but I was like looking for more information about him. So first I saw he did a lot of cinematography. He did the cinematography for the Toolbox Murders. He did the cinematography for Mortuary, which I recently reviewed, which was an MVD Rewind release. The next tidbit of information I uncovered is that he directed 135 adult films under the pseudonym Robert McCallum. So, don't think that I saw any of those, but I guess he's like well-renowned in that world. And then he's very well known for being Orson Welles' final cinematographer. So he did cinematography on F for Fake and Filming Othello, which is, I guess, a documentary about Orson Welles' Othello and, like, you know, doing the stage play and stuff. So how that all ties into Trick or Treats. So the backstory, I guess, whenever we first start the movie, it's a very bizarre opening scene with Joan and her husband Malcolm, and they are just sitting on this patio. Looks like they're having some breakfast. He's reading the Wall Street Journal, and then he gets like abducted by this like psychiatric hospital. You know, they're taking him away in a straitjacket. So something's not right. He's like, you know, it's like we don't really know the backstory there, but then it kind of cuts to Linda, who is our main girl. She's like the you know, the heroine of the story, and she is a babysitter. So she is dating this guy, and he is in a play, and the only time that they're ever together is when they're on the phone with each other. So throughout the movie, they're just like calling each other back and forth, and he's in this like dressing room. He's playing Othello in the stage play Othello. And she's like, I think you're a little young to be Othello, but it was pretty funny. So there is the connection between Gary Graver and Orson Welles. Apparently he was like obsessed with Orson Welles. I don't really know the story. I'm not a historian on this guy, but I thought it was like a really interesting connection that, you know, the whole time I was watching this movie, I thought that it was kind of weird. Like, why are we going back and forth between this like one central place and then some other undetermined like location where they're playing this, they're having a play? Like, where is that coming into play? So I don't really know. I don't get it. But I guess he wanted to have some sort of connection to that. Whatever. Linda is an aspiring actor, and she babysits to, you know, fund her acting career, because that's what you do, I guess. And, you know, she was supposed to be there for her boyfriend's opening night as Othello, something like that, and she just can't go because she has to babysit this kid, and he is a nightmare. He looks like Andy Milonakis. His name is Christopher, and he's played by Chris Graver, who is actually the director's son. And he's on one of the commentaries on this release also, so it was very interesting. And that kid, he's supposed to be like an obnoxious little brat, but oh my god, he was just so annoying. So I guess he did a good job. But yeah, I just couldn't get over. He really reminded me of Andy Milonakis, which was like, it was very unnerving. But anyway, the kid's like, he wants to be a magician, so he's always like, he has like a guillotine in his room, and he's like playing all these tricks on Linda, you know, whatever. His mom is Joan, who is Malcolm's former wife. This is 7 years after he got carted off to the loony bin. So Joan is living with David Carradine's character, which I don't remember his name, but he was David Carradine. And, you know, of course, David Carradine is being David Carradine, so he, like, is unzipping Linda's blouse, like, flirting with her as his wife is walking in. I was such a big fan of David Carradine's character in this. He wasn't in, like, too much of the movie, but he was an awesome character. I just was like, I wanted him to pour me a glass of brandy. Like, come on, David Carradine, what the heck? So it's Halloween night. Linda's giving out treats to the trick-or-treaters, and all throughout the night, like the phone just keeps ringing. And, you know, it's at first it has to do with Malcolm in the loony bin, and then it turns into, like, you know, her boyfriend's calling, the Jones checking in on Christopher, you know, all these different people are calling, and it's just like the phone just ringing and ringing and ringing, and I'm like, this is maddening, like, you know. And Linda kind of reacts the same way too, like she answers the phone a lot of times just like, what? And you know, it's not who she's expecting. Her friend is calling her about some film that she edited for her. It was just, there was a lot going on. But all throughout, and it was just like, it really was like phone trick-or-treaters, some sort of plot progression. Phone trick-or-treaters, some sort of plot progression. And it's like, it was very, there was a lot of stuff going on, but it wasn't like overwhelming. It just seemed, it had like a reality to it. The music in this film was not remarkable. I don't recall who composed it, but it reminds me of like a Universal monster movie. Like, it's just very, kind of reminds me of that era, like a symphony doing the music for it or something like that. So, you know, it wasn't noticeable. It's not to say it was bad, it just wasn't like, didn't stick out like, wow, this music's great. Louis Switcher and I watched this together, and there were so many times where like we were just like cracking up at the absurdity of what was going on. For one, when Malcolm was getting carted off to the loony bin, that entire scene was amazing. So I guess this is considered a slasher, even though there's not like a huge amount of kills in it. I can only think of a couple, but there is a lot of cases of the son, Christopher, doing all of his tricks and stuff, pranking Linda. He fakes his suicide multiple times. There's a lot of fake blood just because of him pranking Linda, and it has her on edge. It's funny because Linda actually tells Christopher the story of the boy who cried wolf, and that's what we're seeing here, because every single time Christopher fakes his suicide or, you know, injury or whatever it is, we're not sure if it's actually, you know, if it's him playing a prank or if he's actually injured. So we're just as out of the loop as her. So as she's freaking out to all of his injuries, we're looking at it like, is he pranking her or is he really injured? Is he really dead? What's going on? So, yeah, there's like a little element of mystery and suspense to that just because of that. Christopher's room's really bizarre. It has like a very blocky color pattern to it, and like I said, he has like a giant guillotine just sitting there in it. He has a bunch of like magic stuff in it, so it's just kind of absurd. Doesn't look like a kid's room at all. There's all kinds of really cool like vintage Halloween decorations and stuff, so that's pretty neat, seeing all that stuff. But other than that, it's a pretty big house. It has like a gated yard, you know, there's a fence and everything, and it's a pretty cool location, but all of it, pretty much all of it, takes place in this house. And the only time that we're seeing something that's outside of the house are the things that take place in the yard or the shed or the people calling in. The cinematography, you know, for Gary Graver being a cinematographer, this was, you know, there was a lot of really interesting things here, like shots and stuff that were in this movie. There's actually some on the back that it's just like really interesting looking. But and there we have David Carradine looking super fly. And there's some taglines on the back here that are absolutely hilarious. Let me just read these for you. TV Guide says, more enjoyable than most run-of-the-mill slasher films. If you aren't sold from that, I don't know what would sell you. And then Matt Mulcahy from E-Film Critic says, Halloween, but with a meatloaf-looking dude in drag. And that's accurate. It kind of reminds me of a tagline that I would give a movie. So I appreciate that. That sounds really amazing. I didn't take note that the dad looked like Meatloaf, but he actually does. I was more paying attention to the kid looking like Andy Milonakis. So, you know, that kind of distracted me. Another thing that I wanted to comment on is this artwork is like the thing that stuck out to me most about this movie, having not seen it before. So every single time I see this, like, I know that it's a head inside of a bag and there's the ear, but every single time I see this, all I see is a raccoon tail sticking out of a bag. So I don't know why, it's what my brain goes to every time I see it. So when Halloween night stopped being fun. So let's take a look at the fun Blu-ray extras. We have high def master from the original 35mm camera negative, which actually looked very good. I haven't seen this on DVD or VHS, but I guarantee it is a step above that. It looked very good for a film of its time. Audio commentary with the stars Jackie Giroux, Peter Jason, Chris Graver, and cameraman R. Michael Stringer, moderated by Sean Graver, which is the director's other son. So that one I listened to, and it was kind of more like your like traditional commentary where you have just like people, like they were all just obviously sitting in a room and they were all kind of like talking over each other. It was very much like Hollywood, you know, people like recounting, oh yeah, this person, like they talk about people from in the industry, and I'm just like, bro, I'm lost. So that one was, I mean, it was good, but there was just a lot of times where I was like, I don't know, they're talking amongst themselves. And then there's an audio interview with actor Steve Railsback. And then there's watching Katarina's bucket list mode, which I am not sure what that is. So please let me know, because I'm gonna be checking it out soon, but I haven't as of yet. So that is what you get from this Code Red release. It's 90 minutes, all regions, and same art here. And then let's just take a look at the disc for fun. So there's that. And that's what you get. This movie is very, very Halloween centric, so if you're looking for a fun, festive watch, give this a try. It's fun. It's a fun slasher, so I think that a lot of people are going to really like this. If you have already seen this, let me know what you think of it. And thank you to all my new subs and all of you that take the time out every week to comment to me. I appreciate it. And thanks to Code Red again for sending this to me. And I will be reviewing more stuff in the future. It is October, so, you know, maybe we'll have more spooky stuff. Check out my Instagram and see what is coming up, and I will see you next time. Bye!